RBT Fam, what is the deal? It's your dog, Willie Jack, and we are back. Back, baby. Back with more NFL action. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? NFL Week 15 is here. And this very well. I know, you know what? I caught myself, because when I was thinking about it, I was like, man, this is a banger. This may be the best week of football matchups that we've had all year. And then I caught myself, I was like, man, I feel like I say that every week. But I can't help it. This week, I'm talking about a jam-packed schedule of nothing but bangers. Bangers. I don't think there's a weak matchup on here. No, maybe there's one, because the Titans still got to play. You know what I mean? It's not their fault. But outside of that, I'm telling you, Week 15 is loaded. And so this is going to be a good, awesome day of football. Man, I cannot wait. Cannot wait to talk about it. Cannot wait to discuss all the implications. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks now. The playoffs are looming. We're getting closer and closer. Today's matchups also have like a massive impact on like this as these playoff seedings are getting finalized. And I meant to ask y'all as well. I don't know if y'all be reading the captions. I wonder. So I was writing the caption for today's show and just kind of highlighting some of these premium matchups. We've got 5, 6, I'm talking about tier 1 premium elite style of matchups today to talk about. So it's a big week. This is a big week for sure. For sure. I see a couple of y'all early birds in the chat already. What's going on? First one in the building, Mom Do said, good morning, Big Nation family. Happy Sunday. Have a blessed show as always. Let's see. Sis in the building as well early this morning. Said happy Sunday to the good people. What's going on? Let's see. That's a good question, Marcel. Are you excited about the college football playoffs? And you know what? Yeah, for sure. And honestly, like the playoffs always, the college football playoffs, they always have some style of drama. And it's not new for this playoff format, which was supposed to be what we all wanted coming off of the BCS system for all those years. The wrong teams or questionable teams or the weird computer grading, etc. So the college football playoff was supposed to alleviate all those concerns and complaints that we had coming out of the BCS. Well, now all we've done, when they had it at 4 teams, and the writing was always on the wall that they were going to grow and expand it because, contrary to popular belief, I'm glad the cat's finally out the bag that this student-athlete nonsense is just, like I said, it's just nonsense. And so now we got to start breaking those funds off to the people putting in the labor. But when it was 4 teams, there was way too much money on the table to not expand it. And so now they're up to 12. And of course, there's complaints about 12. And so it's never gonna be perfect. And honestly, I don't want it to get any bigger. I don't think it had to get to 12, to tell you the truth. 4 was a little short. So I can get that. But I'd have been happy, honestly, with 6. The 2 top seeds or something like that, however we want to divide it up or whatever. Maybe the 2 top seeds get a bye week, and then there's just 4, like a final 4. 12 feels a little too wide. And also, of course, there's talking about expanding it from 12 to 16 because now 12 is one of those things where it's never going to be enough, right? If we give you 4, you want 8. We give you 12, you want 16. You see what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things about it. Now, the way that they constructed the teams, there's the 2 most questionable ones. And this is the problem with this, right? Because college football is still they're still hamstringing themselves, pretending that this is about fair and equal balance across all college football sports. Tulane never needs to be in the college football playoffs. I don't give a damn how good their season was. You know what I mean? And maybe not even, hold on, who am I even thinking of? That's a good question. See, I didn't know we was going to go there this morning. That's a good question. I know Notre Dame, of course, didn't get in. Now, they did a lot of that themselves because they've tried to separate themselves and stay independent and whoop-de-woo. And you want to play that soft-ass schedule, and then you want to lose to one of the only moderately competitive teams that you play, and then you're mad you don't get in. Hold on here. 1 second. Now, I know a lot of people are also upset that Alabama made it in. And so here's the thing about the Alabama case. Without going to that SEC championship game, then yeah, I probably I would be okay with them not making it into the playoff because they had some bad losses flat out. They had a couple losses that just I don't want to. We just can't excuse. They lost to what? Hold on. Here we go. Okay, look at this. James Madison. James Madison is going to open the playoffs against Oregon in a 12-5 matchup. James Madison should never be in the college football playoff. This isn't for you, James Madison. JMU. Respectfully, JMU. I'm not trying to disrespect the big dog. I played in small-time college ball myself, so I get it. I was an ant on a mountain. You know what I mean? That's what these type of schools are. There's no reason at all we should ever see James Madison and Oregon play, especially in a playoff setting. Now, James Madison being in the playoff over a team like Notre Dame. Now, did Notre Dame give themselves the best chance or make the best case? Probably not. Is this going to be a more competitive game than James Madison? What's the spread on this game? The spread's 21.5. That feels light. 21.5 should be the spread for this game for the first half. This is a 40-point game. Conservatively, this is a 40-point win for Oregon, and they're going to be resting. They're going to start pulling guys midway through the third quarter, and this is going to be a 40-point victory. You see what I'm saying? So I don't. Now that we've got NIL. College football is a junior professional league. There's other. What's the word I'm looking for here? There are additional intricacies that they haven't adopted from the NFL. So I'm not saying it's apples to apple, right? But it's damn close. Like, you know what I mean? It's damn close. Our college football is quickly showing itself to be from the tree that sprout from the NFL. There's GMs. College football teams have general managers. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking the athletic director. Now, the athletic director, he's going to be over, well, of course, all athletics. But the football programs themselves have general managers. The transfer portal is just a clever name for free agency, right? And then we're even seeing the problems and the issues that they're having with the transfer portal, i.e. or ergo, college's free agency, because the free agency window opens in front of bowl season. And so players are making a decision about whether or not they want to withdraw and avoid their bowl so that they can get premium seating or slotting or, you know what I mean, like get an early jump on the transfer portal or on free agency. So there's so many things going on. I am excited to see it, but they're just making a bad problem worse with we don't need to expand it. If we've got 12 teams now and one of the 12 teams is damn Tulane and James Madison, we've got too many teams. Period. This isn't for you. This isn't for you, Tulane. It's not for you, James Madison. It's just not. I'm sorry, Tulane. You ran it up against Southeast Louisiana State. Kudos. We shouldn't be looking at you play Ole Miss in a 6-5 in a 6-11 matchup in a college football playoff. We just shouldn't. And so those are the things that annoy me. Getting better. That's what I was getting about. So Alabama's got some bad losses. Now, bad in comparison, because they still lost to P5 schools, right? Because was Tulane and James Madison each undefeated? So if you lost to any, let me see here, because now I got to know. James Madison's 12-1. Who's they one loss? I don't give a damn who they lost to. Who's the one loss? Unless they played another P5. No, now I got to look, because now we got to know. Mom, we going to blame you. We going to blame Mom Deuce for this, y'all. Mom Deuce we got distracted today because we got to talk about it a little bit. Hey, hold on, I see my dog D-Dot that slid in the building. What's going on, big dog? You know what's going on, man. Big Nation business in the building. Come on, man. You know what's going on. Hey, Monday night, we got to do what we got to do. Yeah, man. I can't wait to see it. Hold on, because I want to talk about James Madison lost week. James Madison lost to the Louisville Cardinals. The unranked Louisville Cardinals beat James Madison 28-14. That's their only loss of the season. Okay, that's a great season. They've got notable victories against Liberty. Let me see here. Because I don't even the Raging Cajuns. The Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Okay. Old Dominion. Okay. Marshall. Okay, there's a good one. Did they blow out App State? Come on, man. And Temple. What are we doing? What are we doing? A loss to Louisville and notable victories over Temple, Old Dominion, Marshall, and the Louisiana Raising Cajuns. This team is in the college football playoffs. Okay, no, that's not what this is about. It's not what it should be about. And then, of course, the way it's been, and this was already foreshadowed anyway, where the playoff is going to essentially neuter the bowl season itself. And that's why we have teams like Notre Dame pouting and packing up their ball and going home because they didn't make the playoff, right? Meanwhile, James Madison and Tulane did, but they didn't make the playoff. They declined their bowl invite, and so now they're just going to end their season and go home in a fit of pouting, right? And so, those are the things that we've gotten wrong. Tulane is in. A 2-loss Tulane team is in. Who they lose to? Come on, man. Now, you know what? Tulane did beat Duke. They got smoked by Ole Miss already this year. They lost to Ole Miss 45-10. They beat Duke. They beat Tulsa. They beat East Carolina or Eastern Coastal Carolina, whatever. And then they also lost to, hold on. We've got to know now. I done went down this rabbit hole. We got to figure it out now. Who's that other loss to? Tulane got 20 ball by UTSA. Tulane lost 48-26 to University of Texas, San Antonio. You got to be out your rabbit ass mind. You got to be out your rabbit ass mind. Come on, man. Come on, man. Okay. Yeah. So I am excited about the playoffs because it's still intriguing matchups, and this is still how we find a national champion. So I'm excited about it, but it pisses me off as well because of that type of stuff, right? We got people complaining about Alabama and Notre Dame and Miami, and those were reasonable gripes for the cases made. But I don't want to even entertain complaints about those three when we've got James Madison Tulane here at the party. Who invited the kids to the grown party? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't like that. Oh, I keep dancing around it. Alabama won the SEC West. Yeah, they're in the West, I believe. They went to the SEC Championship and lost to Georgia. Georgia, a perennial top, 3-4 team in the country over the better part of the last decade. Right? Now, they did have some additional wins, but they still went to a conference championship game. And if they wouldn't have played in that game and didn't pick up that additional loss, right? Because some teams, like I'm not in the business or I'm not in agreement with punishing teams, I don't want to punish teams who play in their conference postseason, right? And so their regular season schedule without that additional loss, which now makes them a 3 or 4 loss teams, mind you, it was in the championship game. Like, I don't necessarily think that should give Notre Dame the edge because they didn't have to play that week because, for one, they don't play in the conference and they got that soft schedule anyway. So I'm not too beat up about Alabama getting in, to tell you the truth, in general. But long story longer, long answer longer. I am excited about the college football playoffs because it is still, I am eager to see the champions play. And then, of course, most playoffs are when, it's only good teams left, especially like in the NFL and mostly in the NFL, NBA, most of these other predominant leagues. Playoffs is premium, the best of the best football. Now, we don't get that in college because, ergo, we've got James Madison and Tulane in here taking up 2 seats that should have went to somebody else. And this is the thing. There should be something, I guess, in play or in place for them. Whatever the case, they don't need to be here. They don't. It's not, it diminishes the quality of the product. Their crowning achievement is just making it to this game. They get to show up and get blown out by 40, but that's a crowning achievement for them. No, that's BS. We ain't got time for that. We took everybody too old for participation awards. No, you had a fantastic season. Get one of these offset bowls. Get one of these offset bowls that you never had a chance to go to or you never been to before. That's reputable, right? And I think that's a fair exchange. But letting them have 2 of these limited ass 12 seats is robbery. You know what I mean? And so I don't like that part of it. That was a good question. Good question. Sis said happy Sunday to the good people. To the good people. My goodness. Hey, talk about it, man. I see y'all in here. Everybody ain't jumping in my chat. What's going on though? But no, we gonna go ahead and get into it. That was a good comment. That was a good comment. I feel good and warmed up now. Let's go. We're gonna jump into real quick. We're gonna jump into this Thursday night recap. This turned out to be a pretty good game. Atlanta on the road against division rival Tampa Bay, and Atlanta pulls the upset. Atlanta pulls the upset in this one. They win this 29-28. Huge day for Kyle Pitts. And this is the thing. And you know what? Me and my dog Chop went back and forth about Kyle Pitts. When Kyle Pitts was getting drafted, gosh, was this 2021? This was right in there, 2021, I want to say, because I don't think he's been re-signed yet. His fifth year, is he playing on his fifth-year option? Either way, but he was a guy that me and Chop definitely saw differently. I bought in fully to Unicorn. He's unique. He's a special style of athlete, special style of player. I saw him at not Florida. Now I'm blanking. Hold on, Kyle Pitts. Oh my God, this is gonna drive me crazy now. This is gonna drive me crazy now. I just blanked. But be that as it may, I'm gonna move on, man. I'm happy to see Kyle Pitts. I know he took some lumps, and I think what it was is that he was a tight end, right? He got drafted, I think, top 6. I think he was the 6th pick, drafted by the Falcons that year. And I think people say he underwhelmed, and he did, but also I don't know if our expectations were high, because this is also the era of the high-flying tight end. And so we've been spoiled looking at Travis Kelce. We've been spoiled coming off of Rob Gronkowski before that. We've been spoiled coming off of Jimmy Graham even in that area before that. We've been spoiled looking at George Kittle. We've been spoiled now, Zach Ertz. This has been probably the greatest era of tight ends that we've seen. And also I don't mean that as a slight to the generation before, because we had great eras before. We had Tony Gonzalez and Shannon Sharp duking it out in the same era. You know what I mean? Like, and Jason Witten. Numerous. We've had stretches of great tight end play, right? So I feel like kind of that era was its own kind of little class. And I'm missing some guys as well. And then, of course, like I said, we got into the Jimmy G's and your Gronks. And then, of course, as that moves on, we get into Kelce and Kittle. And then even now today, we've got Trey McBride out in Arizona. We've got Brock Bowers already a dude with the Raiders. We've got Tyler Warren, a rookie who looks to be a new age stud as well. And so we've got this age of explosive, dynamic tight ends and offenses that know how to use them. And so Pitts was a 1,000-yard receiver as a rookie, and he underwhelmed. He was getting bus talks in year 2, 3, right? Because he only had what was it, 1 or 2 touchdowns with that 1,000-yard season as a rookie. But we just expected so much because we have been spoiled seeing these guys, and we forget it took Travis Kelce 3 years to hit the ground. You know what I mean? 3 or 4. It was his 3rd or 4th season that was a breakout year. He wasn't fresh out the box. George Kittle didn't come fresh out the box, right? I didn't even say Antonio Gates back then when we were talking, but that's what I'm saying. So we've seen great tight end play, but I think the tight end position overall is probably the deepest it's been in recent memory for sure. And so all that to say, Kyle Pitts definitely, I think, had a career day, 11 catches, 166 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Buccaneers had no answer. And the truth is, they've been relatively soft in the middle as far as their pass coverage goes at the linebacker level for a little bit now. Now, Levante Davis, the aged veteran that he is, him there in the middle, and then also the running mates there that line up next to him. But they've been softer on the inside in their central coverage for a little while, and Atlanta definitely exposed that. I saw another stat as well. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. Matter of fact, we was talking about these old greats. Kyle Pitts is the first tight end to record a game in which he had over 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's the first guy to do that in a game at the tight end position since Shannon Sharp. So shout out to Shannon. Let's see, Giants in the building, man. See the Broncos bringing the belt to Jordan Love today. Ooh, belt's a little strong, man. Belt's a little strong, dog. Oh, hold on. Hey, I see you in the building. Appreciate you, sis. She said, put the comments up. I appreciate you. Hey, James, where you from? I assume you're a Broncos fan. You from Denver? Where you from, big dog? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe as well, man. Somebody in the chat say what's up to James, man. He one of them members now, big dog. Now, Belt's a little strong. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about it too. I do want to talk about that game. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. I'm going to go to that game next. Let me finish buttoning up this Atlanta game real quick. So Kyle Pitts has a massive day, 166 and 3 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins returned another day in the sun for Kirk Cousins, his first in a while. Big day, 373 yards, those 3 touchdowns to Kyle Pitts and no interceptions. Bijan Robinson also had a fantastic day, both ground and air, 93 yards and a touchdown on the ground. 82 yards receiving in this one. So massive day for him. And then on the other side for the Buccaneers, man, it's coming down around them, man. The team is getting healthier. Mike Evans had a fantastic day in this one. 6 receptions for 132 yards. For sure, big day there. Emeka Egbuka, he's definitely chilled out. You know what I mean? So I think when he first came into the league, he was playing at an unbelievable level. He played better than the guy that I thought I saw at college. Because at college, he was a very dependable and reliable receiver. He didn't look to be a game breaker, right? But his first month in the league, he was playing. He was playing as well as anybody. Anybody not named Jackson Smith and Jigba. And you know what I mean? So he was playing in that style of realm or room. Then he gets injured. He gets beat up, banged up a little bit. He misses 4 or 5 weeks. He comes back and he still hasn't kind of regained that same momentum he had since the first month. But I think now he's probably just leveled back out to more so the player that I feel like I saw, when I was watching him coming out of Ohio State. But still a great player for sure. And then Chris Godwin as well, working his way back from injury. He also had a touchdown in this one as well. But the Buccaneers no longer control their own destiny in that division. So they needed to win out to essentially keep that division lead on top of the Panthers, who are charging and rallying. And now with this loss, the Panthers have essentially have control of this division. And I want to say the Bucs may play the Panthers next week. I want to say that may be for the division crown as well. And that's assuming that Carolina wins today. If Carolina wins today against the Saints, I'm not sure if that actually wins the division or if that win coupled with a matchup and a win against the Buccaneers before the end of the season should give them the division. And so, yeah, this is a big loss for the Buccaneers. Like I said, man, it's been a rough year for them, man. Baker was he was the only guy not injured to start the first half of this year. Then now the rest of the team around him is getting injured and Baker's beat up. I mean, it's just one of those offset years, man. I feel bad for Baker. Let me see, James. What do you say? He say he's from Vegas. All right. They got to come out hungry today and make a statement. None of that soft stuff. He believe. Hold up, man. So wait, you from Vegas? You not a Raiders fan? Well, you know what? In fairness, the Raiders just got there. I dig. Yeah, the Raiders just got there. Okay, so Broncos fan. And you believe in both. And you know what, man? I can't quite, but it's something. I wasn't super high on Bo when he was coming out of Oregon by way of Auburn. The man played in college football for damn near a decade. You know what I mean? But I think he's shown himself better than I wanted to give him credit for coming in. But he's still very streaky. And it feels like the good thing about him is that he plays better in the crunch moments of the game. So I feel like the first 3 quarters or so, he's a little hit and miss. He can be a little consistent. But it feels like when the game gets tight and it's in winning time, crunch time, and especially we get into the fourth quarter, it feels like he always plays his best ball when the game's in the balance. And that's something that's hard to do. Everybody can't do that. Justin Herbert is a superiorly talented player than Bo Nix, but he's the other part. Justin Herbert may light you up for 3 quarters, but if the game gets close, it gets to crunch time in the fourth quarter, Justin Herbert more times than not, he don't show up. And that's always been my gripe against him, right? Bo Nix is the other way. So that's a kudo and a credit to Bo Nix. But I still can't say I believe just yet. You know what I mean? I can't say I believe just yet, but I appreciate you, homeboy. You one of them ones, man. You one of them members now today. You one of them members, big dog. Hey, sis said, what's up in the building? Yeah, appreciate y'all. He said, happy Sunday to the good people. Let's go. Hey, yeah. Hey, the Bo leave is crazy. Hey, I ain't mad at it though. I respect it. Yeah, matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and jump into that game, man. We're gonna see what Bo. We're gonna see if Bo got something else to say about that Broncos game today. Let me find it. Here we go. And matter of fact, man, this was one of the matches I was talking about where this is a game of the week. There's like 4 games of the week this week, y'all. I mean, that's a heads up. This is a game of the week because this is a potential Super Bowl preview. The Packers are playing red hot. Jordan Love is balling. Jordan Love's playing out of his mind. I think Jordan Love got 22 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's got over 3,000 yards. I want to say his accuracy is somewhere, his completion percentage is somewhere north of 65. He's playing fantastic, right? And the rest of that young team is growing and maturing around him for sure, right? And also those guys, they've got some guys that came back from injury. Now, they did lose my dog, Tucker Kraft. I hated to see it, but they have rebounded and bounced back nicely. Christian Watson is playing very well. They're getting they just got Jaden Reed back, I want to say, off of IR. And then they've got a group, they just got a young group of little Thundercats over there. And so on any given week, you know, one or two of those guys can catch a 60-yard pass or score 2 touchdowns. We'll randomly see Romeo Dobbs have a 2-touchdown day. Christian Watson, like I said, the young guy Matthew Golden still around there. Jaden Reed coming back. The other tight end, not Tucker Kraft, but because they drafted Tucker Kraft and Musgrave, I want to say in the same draft. And Musgrave was the higher drafted prospect, and I think he was the one that. And honestly, even coming in, I think I had Musgrave rated above Kraft in that draft because Musgrave, he was a special. He's one of those size, highway speed dudes. But no, the Packers are playing very well. Denver is playing great. They're playing. I don't want to say they're playing great. Denver has they're what? They're 10-2. Are the Broncos? No. That's not enough wins. Are they? They're not 13. No, hold on. This is week 15. Are they 11-2? I think the Broncos might be 11-2. Now, they have had some close calls now. They haven't just been walking through everybody. They've had several close calls. They've won several games in the last moments, in those critical moments, like I was talking about with Bo Nix. The game that jumps out to me all the time is the game that went back and forth down to the wire in the overtime, I believe, against the New York Giants. Against Jackson Dart and the Giants. And that's the game that Bo Scatchabo went down with that gruesome ankle injury, and I was so pissed off at CBS because they kept showing it. When I tell you, old boy was holding his knee on the ground and his foot was looking at him. They just kept zooming in on it. The man's foot was looking at him. He looked down at his toes. Him and his toes had an eye-to-eye conversation. It was disgusting, CBS. I'm not going to forgive you for that. But I always think about that game, right? Also, they had a very damn close game as well that they won in the crunch time with the Chiefs. I mean, they've had, I want to say, out of these 11 wins, I want to say they got 10. I want to say they're 11-2. Out of those 11 victories, I want to say like 5 or 6 of them got to be within one score. And I want to say probably those same 5 or 6 were decided in the fourth quarter or final moments of those games. You know what I'm saying? And so the Broncos are finding a way to win. Now, also, we've been talking about Bo leaving. We ain't even talking about that defense. The defense has been fantastic. Nick Benito is a monster off the edge. I really liked him a lot coming out of Oklahoma. I don't know why he was so low on a lot of people's big boards on that draft board. I think I had him as like the third best rusher in that draft, and that was a stacked class. I want to say Nick Benito came into the league at the same time as Will Anderson, and I want to say Nick Benito was in my top 5 rushers in that same class that had Will Anderson and a host of others. That was a damn good edge rush class, I want to say, or a solid edge rush class, I want to say, because I think there's what's the old boy that went to the Raiders, Tyree Wilson, who busted, but I think he was in that draft as well. But now that defense playing fantastic. Patrick Surtain Jr., of course, reigning defensive player of the year. He was a little beat up this year as well, but he's back like he never left, right? So he's back in action as well. Jonathan Cooper on the other edge is still nice. Now the Broncos defense is damn good, and they're playing very well. Raleigh Moss, you know what I'm saying? He gets tested and exposed from time to time, but of course now that Patrick Surtain's back as well, he plays a lot better because he was getting honey roasted. Matter of fact, when they played the Cowboys, I want to say, yeah, for sure. So, hey, that's a good comment, man. Now, in the game, I did take Green Bay. And honestly, one of the things that I looked at in this game, Denver being at home in Mile High with that defense, that's a hell of an advantage. And probably my head tells me I probably should take Denver in this one. But matter of fact, James, you just got here, so you might not know, big dog. But I am a Jordan Love. Hey, I love me some Jordan Love, big dog. I ain't gonna lie. Jordan Love one-on-ones for me, man. Jordan Love one-on-ones. I'm taking Jordan Love and the Packers are going on the road to get this done. Now, the Packers defense as well, now not to the level of Denver, but they've got some pieces there, of course. We know about Michael Parsons. We know about Rashawn Gary, Devontae Wyatt on the inside of that line. They still got Luke Van Ness as well for some depth across that defensive front. Also, that linebacker core is young and fast and athletic as well. I like them there. The secondary is where, and namely the corner position, is where I think is probably the weakest part of this Packers defense for sure. But when this is still a tough one. Because now you got me thinking. Because Patrick Surtain gonna duke it out with Christian Watson. He's gonna have the advantage against any matchup that we give him for sure. You know what I mean? So Patrick Surtain is the dude. So we know he's gonna have success in all those matchups, and so it's gonna be more so. And this is the great thing about the Packers offense is that it's not necessarily one guy dependent. Jordan Love is doing a great job of kind of spreading the ball around, and then they're finding a way to get explosives as well until they kind of I don't want to say dink and dunk, but they're very timely with their explosives, right? And especially if they can get the ground game going with Josh Jacobs as well, that may force you to kind of play it a little honest, because that's when they're at their best. Because on that deep play action, Jordan Love throws one of the best deep balls in football, like hands down for sure. And he's got that. He's picked up from that Aaron Rodgers kind of like back foot fadeaway flick, and them hoes are 50 yards on a laser. You know what I mean? Like he's throwing those. You know what I'm saying? So Jordan Love has got a special type of arm for sure. And like I said, this was a little more of my heart instead of my head. My head tells me that this is probably a better matchup for the Broncos, especially being at home this time of year with that defense playing the way they are. But I'm going to take my dog Jordan Love. Maybe I might regret this one. I'm going 24-21 Green Bay in the upset on the road. And then also I said this is a legitimate Super Bowl preview. I don't know who's playing hotter in the NFC right now than the Packers. We just seen the Rams, who were that team. Well, they just got that ass spanked by the Panthers 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? And so Green Bay is probably playing just as hot as anybody, especially in that NFC. And then the Broncos on their side, the same things. And so this is a potential Super Bowl matchup. It really is. And so this is going to be a fantastic game. Hey, shout out to James, man. Shout out to James. That's a good comment as well. Y'all on y'all toes this morning. Mom's got in the building. She asked a good question. I didn't even know Mama knew. Hey, hold on. Who are you talking to? Because you don't even know that they play playoffs in college football. Now that I'm thinking about it, you don't even know that. So how you even ask that question? You see what I'm saying? And then we got James in here asking about Bo leaving. I see what y'all got going on this morning. I appreciate y'all. Let's go. Let me see who else in the building. Oh man, my dog, man. Hey, J2 Chill in the building, man. What's going on with you, big dog? He said it's a great day for a Cowboys win. Yeah, it is. You know what, Playboy? Hey, boy, where you been? Boy? Hey, man, we was looking for you, man. I told you this was grown man B.I. Didn't we tell you this was grown man B.I.? He was missing in action last week. Hey, we should have sent the wellness check. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all took a hard one last week. You know what I mean? And then you disappeared on me, big dog. What's up? And I'm glad you made it back. I'm glad you're safe. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. Matter of fact, we're going to jump into your Cowboys next. That's what we're going to do. I got you. Hey, yeah, you see this? Hey, yeah, that's what I said. Hey, man, he was missing in action, man. Hey, man, we didn't even gave old boy a nickname. Man, what would Diggy Do say? Yeah, man, shout out to your dog Diggy Do say, man. Hey, man, that's Diggy Do say, for sure. James said PS2 with a pick 6 today. No. I don't think. When's the last time Jordan Love threw an interception? I don't think Jordan Love threw an interception in about a month and a half. I don't know. Now, I ain't gonna lie now. I don't want to jinx them either, because if somebody's gonna get one, it would be PS2. Hold on, man. Don't come in here tripping. Don't come in here tripping. First off, you better address us as AFC North division champion Steelers for one. That's number one. You know what I mean? That's the first part. And second part, we over 500, big dog. You know what I mean? So you either gotta lead your division, or you gotta be 500 before you can throw rocks at the guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Your arms too short to slap box with the guys, man. You gotta get in the door. You gotta lead your division. You gotta at least be 500 yourself. You at least do one of them. Come on, man. Y'all better handle y'all business today. We're gonna talk about it next. Let me catch up on this chat. He said, the crazy thing is they could be undefeated. The 2 losses came at last-second field goals. No, that's true. But then also, think about 5 of those wins that also they won at the last minute. Remember, they blocked a field goal in Kansas City to get a win. So that could have been a loss. You know what I'm saying? They went to overtime against the Giants. The Giants without Malik Neighbors. Cam Scatterbo gets injured or gets hurt. You got rookie Jackson Dart. I think that was like his 5th start. You know what I mean? They went to overtime. That's a game that the Giants, they could have lost as well. So those 2 losses could have went their way, but then also a good 4 of those wins could have went the other way as well. So I think it probably balanced out. And honestly, it probably balanced out more so in their favor, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate you. He said Josh Jacobs always tore up Denver when he was a Raider. Nah, for sure. He did have some big games in the and what's crazy is, until you just said that, it like reminded me that, Josh Jacobs did play with the Raiders. That's crazy. And it still don't make no sense when they let him go. And so even when they let him go, the year before they let him go, he led the league in rushing. And then that next year, I think he got injured, a little beat up, and then they let him go. Then he goes to Green Bay. So I don't know what that was about anyway. But yeah, because he had just led the league in rushing the year before they let him go. That's crazy. Hey, man. Hey, we're going to talk about that one, too. Hey, we're going to talk about that one, too. Hey, my dog J2J's head recovered. Hey, I ain't going to lie, because I know how it be, bro. I know how it be. I'm telling you. If the Steelers lose, that's why, like, when the Steelers play at 12, if we lose at 12 o'clock, bro, it ruined the whole weekend for me, dog. So I'm already knowing. Matter of fact, let's talk about my dog J2 Trios Cowboys, man. Minnesota on the road at Dallas Sunday night. I'm taking the Cowboys, man. I'm taking my dog J2 Trios Cowboys. I'm riding with his boy Osa Odiggy Duce. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see what he do today. Give me Dallas 27-24 in this one. Now, this still worries me because Brian Flores and that Minnesota Vikings defense, like they've got the pieces, they've got the scheme, and if they show up, when that Vikings defense is rolling, that defense can play with anybody. You know what I mean? Now, can JJ McCarthy and that offense, can they do enough to keep that defense rested, right? Move the ball, and so that defense doesn't wear out from just being on the field all day, right? And then also, can you give that defense some leeway to, you know what I mean, to where they can actually play aggressive ball without having to worry about babysitting the offense because y'all inept or turning over the ball back and forth, right? So this is still going to be a tough matchup, especially early. I think the early part of this game is where it's going to be important for Dallas. Dallas has the offense. If they come out, if I'm Dallas, I want to get the ball first, and I want to go immediately score. Like an opening score, starting this game 7-0, starting this game, God forbid, 10-0, 14-0, and that's probably going to be all she wrote for Minnesota because now they're going to be forced to try to win this game on the arm of J.J. McCarthy, and that's trouble. That's bad news bears. You know what I mean? And so if you're Dallas, I think you come out early, be aggressive early, and if Dallas goes up 10-0 in this game, and they should be able to coast. Essentially, you know what I'm saying? I really think they should be able to coast because we don't want to have to, if you're Minnesota, the last thing you want to do is have to have J.J. McCarthy attempt 40 passes in this game, right? And so I do like Dallas in the matchup because I can't trust J.J., even though I do think that Minnesota Vikings defense. Now, here's the other part of that. With that Minnesota Vikings defense with B-Flow, Brian Flores, if they're getting after it, we can't have one of those early eyeball turnovers from Dak today. We can't have one of those eyeball fumbles from your boy Jake Ferguson today. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't have one of those, eyeball fumbles from Javonte Williams or one of those eyeball drop passes from George Pickens or one of these, oddball tip passes from Ryan Flanoy. We can't have any of that type of stuff that goes on because Dallas is wanting to do that. You know what I'm saying? Dallas will give one or get in their own way. And so this is the wrong time to do that because you don't want to give this team life. I think also J.J. McCarthy is one of those guys where he really kind of plays to the momentum. When things are rolling and going good and there's not a lot of pressure because that defense is playing well, they're getting some success, he can move the ball and he can put some points on the board for sure. But when it gets heavy, when it gets tight, when it is competitive, and he starts forcing things, that's when, of course, the turnovers come in bunches. And so I do think Dallas wins this game, but I do think this is a dangerous game for Dallas because, again, of what they could be dealing with on defense. Hey, also, J2 Trill, CD. Is CD's out? Did CD clear concussion protocol? Somebody let me know, man. Somebody let me know. J2 Trill, man, let me know. Is your boy CD playing today? Damn. I'm trying to think of CD back and I can't remember. Because I know he left last game early with that concussion. Is CD back today? J2 Trill, man, I'm waiting on you, dog. You got to let me know if CD's back today. I can't recall. And then, matter of fact, let me catch up on this chat for the show. James said, oh, come on, man. Hey, man. Oh, yeah, I forgot you new here, big dog. It's Big Nation, big dog. Big Nation business in the building, man. Still a nation, big dog. Man, hold on, man. Hey, I don't normally do this. I'll be right back. Hold on. Hell no. Hell no. Hold on, man. I had to, man. It's big, man. Hold on, man. I don't normally do this. Hold on, man. He just got here. Hold on. Who's my squad? Hey, come on, man. Who's my squad? Man, I don't even normally do this. Man, you have me leave the camera on my own show, answer these foolish questions, man. Who's my squad? The guys, man. The guys. Who's my squad? Man, you better know where you at, big dog. Come on, man. Yeah, let's go. Hey, shout out to James, man. He one of them members, man, for sure. For sure. Let's see. J2 Trill said McCarthy's the worst QB we've seen. It ain't good. It ain't good, I tell you that. And this is crazy. I liked J.J. McCarthy better than I thought I would when he was coming into the draft out of Michigan. I didn't expect to like his tape at all. And when I watched it, I was very pleasantly surprised. And so I do see the things that, like, he's got tools that can make him a very viable quarterback. He's a fantastic athlete for sure. He's got a damn good arm. Now, the problem is, and what's crazy, similar to Jordan Love, I feel like when Jordan Love first got to the Packers, J.J. McCarthy, he only knows how to throw fastballs. And that's a lot of his problem. He can only throw 95 miles an hour. You know what I mean? No curve, no changeup, no slider. He throws gas. You know what I mean? He throws 101. You know what I mean? He might break 100 in velocity, but we don't know where the ball's going. You know what I mean? He's going to throw it hard. It can go anywhere. And it can go to either team. You know what I'm saying? But he does have ability for sure. And so if they're able, if Kevin O'Connell, and he's in the right place to do it because Kevin O'Connell is probably our best QB whisperer, right, of recent memory. Because we've seen what happened with Kirk Cousins for sure. But then we've seen what happened when Sam Darnold spent a year in his building. We see what happened when Daniel Jones spent half a year in his building, right? And so I think he's in the right place, but J.J. McCarthy's playing so bad and on a team that was so competitive that he may not get the chance to develop because this Vikings team, they don't have the time to wait on him. You know what I'm saying? And so, because we forget, this Vikings team right now, what are they're 5-7? I want to say, are they 5-7 or 5-7, 5-8? Excuse me, somewhere in there. And so they're not a playoff team. They're going to finish below, or no, they may be 5-9. They're going to finish below 500. They're not a playoff team. We forget that just last season, this was a 14-win team. It's the same roster this is essentially the same roster that won 14 games last year. And honestly, if Sam Darnold didn't piss down his leg the last month of the season, like, they were positioned to make a real run in that NFC. And then Sam Darnold just laid an egg, man. He just laid an egg the last month of the season. And so it came crumbling down around them. But this is a very talented team that's ready to win now. But then they drafted such a young, raw quarterback in J.J. McCarthy that, like I said, man, just the timing, they may be forced to move on because I don't know how long is Justin Jefferson going to stay there. Like, how long is Justin Jefferson going to wait to see whether or not if J.J. McCarthy hopefully develops into the guy that they want him to be? And we're wasting prime Justin Jefferson's years, right? And if you didn't know, Justin Jefferson is my favorite receiver in football right now. You know, that's the guy. Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 1 in football right now, if you asking me. But that's a good question. That's a good comment as well. Okay, he says CD's active. Okay, good. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I like the Cowboys, especially, and the Cowboys are always they've always been a better home team than away team anyway. And so also that defense with JJ, talking about JJ McCarthy, keeping on that point, he is prone to turning over James. Dog, you almost made me lose my train of thought. What I was finna say, man. You watch your mouth, man. Justin Jefferson, a Bronco next season? Man, hell no. Hell no. First, I don't want to see him in the AFC. I don't want them problems. Leave him in the NFC for sure, for one. But and you know what's fair about that though? I don't think they let him go next year because, well, like they'd have to eat too much of the dead cap. And so I think I had seen a post maybe 2 weeks ago where it was speculating or talking about that, about Justin Jefferson, his frustrations, right? And like what it looks like if he gets moved. But I think the way, because he just signed that contract. He just got $100 million. You know what I'm saying? Or didn't he, or maybe not 100, but he just re-upped with them. What? Yeah, he just got 100 and something because Jamar Chase petty ass wanted like $250,000 more than him. So I think he just had just re-signed, so that he still got a lot of that new money. And so they would have to eat too much of the dead cap if they would have to eat too much of that salary and dead cap if they move him next year. And so I think he's going to keep him one more year at the least because of the financial implications. And then depending on this next year might be the last one because then you can afford to move him, especially if he's, making it an issue that he needs to be moved. But I do think they got one more. I don't want to see him I don't want to see him with the Broncos though. Man, first off, man, your dog Bo Nix ain't gonna give him the ball like he need to. Bo Nix ain't getting Cortland Sutton the ball enough, man. Now you want to go over there and throw Justin Jefferson. What y'all gonna do with Cortland Sutton? I think Cortland Sutton is actually a little underrated. He's not a premier one, but he's one of those guys, man, where if he's your second option, now you cooking with grease. You know what I'm saying? Like now you cooking with gas. If he's your second option. Him as your first option still feels like you want another piece. I dig that. J2 True said Diggs is inactive. Man, Diggs been inactive all year. Diggs ain't coming back. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's Ben Sir. He didn't play his last days as a Cowboy. You know what? They may activate him because they may have to because they still got young corners. DeRon Bland, who they end up. It feels slightly like an overpay for him having a fantastic one-off breakaway season, 3 years ago now, all those interceptions. But then outside of that, he's been injured. And then when he's not been injured, he's been solid, right? But they paid him. And so the writing's on the wall that Diggs is going to be out of there for sure. And I'm not positive that this is week 15. There's only 3 weeks left. After this week, there's only 3 weeks left in the regular season. And so maybe they do activate him, but I don't know what to fully expect or how much we can expect him to contribute this late in the season, and then also just getting his legs under him. You know what I mean? Because, football is one of those things where, like, you got to build those calluses up over the season. You know what I mean? And so I don't know what exactly he really has to offer at this point for sure. Oh, yeah. Sis know what's going on. Yeah, they know what's going on. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly. I think Sutton is probably closer to a very high quality too. You know what I mean? I think he's more so in that mix. But let me see. No, they did, and I can see that. I don't know if it's gonna be Justin because, like I said, like with his contract and what's going on, I'm wondering who's set to be. You know what? There's probably gonna be, depending on what my dog J2 Trill and his Cowboys do with George Pickens, there may be some type of sweepstakes for Pickens. because I don't know if the Cowboys are going to realistically have enough money in the cap to franchise him. Because if you franchise George Pickens for roughly $30 million, that's a flat $30 million charge to the salary cap. And we already know the Cowboys salary cap been trashed for the better part of 10 years, 10, 15 years, since when they were first trying to sign Dez Bryant back in the day and Tony Romo. You know what I mean? And it didn't get any better when they messed up signing Zeke and Dak Prescott. You know what I mean? And then we saw how that the salary cap has still been an issue when we don't sign Micah. So their salary cap has been problematic for a while now. And so realistically, I don't know if they can afford to franchise GP. And especially, you already got a $35 million receiver in CeeDee Lamb anyway. So are the Cowboys going to pay two $35 million receivers? And then also George Pickens, with the top of the receiver market right now at $40 million, 41, right? What's Jamar Chase getting? Because I think Justin Jefferson, I wanted to say, got up high 30s. I can't remember exactly what his number was. It was high 30s. Then Myles Garrett signed for 40 to lead just all 9 quarterbacks. And then Jamar Chase signed a week after Myles Garrett for like 40 and a quarter. So if the top of the market is 40 and a quarter, and that wasn't free agency. Jamar Chase was just negotiating with his own team. He wasn't a bona fide free agent. And so George Pickens on the open market is going to be at least 35. And now I don't know. I don't think I don't imagine he's going to get paid more than Jamar Chase. I'm not saying that, but I fully expect that he's going to be somewhere. Some team is going to be more than willing to give him somewhere around 35 for sure. Now, I don't know if the Cowboys I don't know if the Cowboys, for one, are willing to do it. Because even if you're able to, you got to be willing to do it. Jerry's shown us that he ain't willing to pay just about nobody. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. So if anything, maybe George Pickens is on the free agency market. Maybe y'all take a swing there. I don't necessarily know. I don't know, man. That'd be interesting. George Pickens in Denver next year. That'd be interesting to see. I don't know. That's a good comment, though. That's a good comment. Jason Trill said Bland is in the outside corner. Every time they slide him out there, he's cooked. For sure. And I like Shavon Reveal, the guy y'all drafted out of, I think he came from East Carolina, Coastal Carolina, or something like that. I liked him coming in. He was 6'3", 190 pounds. He looked like Antonio Cromartie. You know what I mean? That's who he puts me in the mind of with that size, and he's just a bona fide in your chest press man corner. Now, he's not playing as well because the Cowboys, y'all asking him to play a lot of zone and he's getting exposed. He ain't playing no zone. I don't know if he ever plays zone. Just that big and with that length, he's probably been playing press man, just go lock up the best player on the other team. He's probably been doing that since middle school. And now in Dallas, he's trying to learn how to play zone right now. And so it's a little rough there. But Bland definitely plays better on the inside. But he can only play inside if there's guys good enough to be on the outside that make it possible. Because when he's the highest paid guy at the position, like if Diggs ain't outside, and even Diggs is a little hot and cold, hit and miss, but you gotta have the outside first. We can't even put nobody on the inside till the outside's covered. And so they need Shavon Reveal to develop. Derived Bland, he does do better in the inside, but they still need another outside corner. I liked Carson. I liked the old boy Carson. I can't think of his name right now. CC Carson something. The other corner that's young as well. He got drafted the year before Shavon Reveal. I liked him a lot coming in. Did he come in from Wake Forest? Some kind of a little oddball, but I liked him a lot coming in as well, but we haven't seen him develop. Is it Kalen Carson? Something like that. But no, I'm taking those Cowboys. And that one, man, that's going to be a good game. Let me see. We're going to keep it pushing. I'm going to blow through some of these other ones that we can to make up some time. Cleveland on the road at Chicago. I am excited to see Shadur. I want to see how he looks building on his last performance, which was a career day for sure. It's only his third start, a career style of day. Now, they did have a tough loss against the Titans and Cam Ward, but he played fantastic. His best game of his career, over 350. He had damn near 400 total yards of offense. Right? And he also had 4 touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing in that one as well. We know how that game ended with him being pulled off the field in lieu of a wildcat trick play for the 2-point conversion to tie the game. But I want to see now what he does in this next week against Chicago. Now, this is a good Chicago team. Kalen Carson, I thought so. Yeah, Kalen Carson. There we go. Hey, I like him, though. He can cover. Like, I ain't gonna tell you, oh, he can tackle, but his coverage is off. I ain't gonna lie. Well, he hasn't played. No, that's fair. In college, I want to say he came out of Wake Forest, and I want to say he wasn't in my top 5, but that was a very deep corner draft that year that he came in, and I want to say I had him somewhere in like my top. He was in that top 15, top 12, in that 12 to 15 range for the corners coming in that year, but that was a deep-ass cornerback class. That cornerback class went probably 22 deep, and I'm talking guys that for me had like not just draftable grades, but I'm talking about like, I think I had Caleb Carson somewhere in like round 4. I think y'all ended up getting him in like round 6. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought I liked him coming in. But I want to see what Cleveland does now against this a motivated Chicago team. We forget, Chicago was the number 1 seed in the NFC just last week. And then they lost to the Packers in Green Bay. No. Yeah, I think it was in Green Bay. They lost to the Packers last week. They dropped from the number 1 seed to the number 7 seed, losing 1 game to Green Bay. And so that's crazy, that variance, right? But that's where they are now. So now they're the 7th seed. So now their back's against the wall. They had kind of been the darling in the NFC. It's like, oh, look at the Packers, Caleb Williams, and people wanted to call Caleb Williams a bust after that last season. As crazy as that was. It's just microwave society, boy, because that was crazy. But there was people having those talks. And so Ben Johnson goes there from the Lions, and to see the vast improvement that they've had in this short of time, being the number 1 seed, even though they only held it for a short stretch, but even getting there from where they started, I don't think anybody expected them to make the jumps that they did so quickly, but they are going to be super motivated. They just came off that loss. They're down to the 7th seed. So now they've been reinvigorated. So I do think this is going to be a tough win on the road against a highly explosive and motivated Chicago Bears team. I will give the edge there, 24-20. But at the same time, Cleveland has that type of defense led by Myles Garrett, his punk ass, but led by Myles Garrett, in which Cleveland, like when you have a defense as talented as Cleveland's does, and especially when you have a guy like Myles Garrett leading that defense, it's like being a power puncher in boxing. And so if everything else is weak, you can have a terrible jab, you can have a weak chin, you can have horrible defense, you can be slow, but if you got that great equalizer, right? If you've got that great equalizer like a Deontay Wilder, then sometimes it doesn't matter. On the right night, it doesn't matter because all I've got to do is touch you once. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of defense that Cleveland has. This defense can show up and win a game. We saw this defense show up and beat the Packers, right? They beat the Packers in Cleveland on a game in which I think they blocked a field goal at the end of that game and beat the Packers. That's the Packers' last loss. I believe the Packers' last loss was to Cleveland. Now, it was in Cleveland, and it was like I want to say, no, I don't think it was raining that day. I don't think it was rainy, but it was a low-scoring game for sure, but that's the last team to beat the Packers. And so this defense, if they show up, if Myles Garrett is having a day, and especially with this offensive line that the Bears has is beat up, especially at left tackle, they've been the young guy that they had at left tackle who had been playing decent. Well, he was out last week against the Packers, and honestly, I think he's out extended. And so now you've got your second or third left tackle, right, lining up against Myles Garrett. Oh, my God. Caleb Williams wants to run around and hold the ball and be a playmaker. Dog, this could be a Myles Garrett game. If Myles Garrett breaks TJ Watt's sack record, I'm going to be pissed off, man. And I'm going to call it TJ sack record because he should have 23. The NFL took away one of TJ's sacks, and that's why the record is tied with TJ Watt and Michael Strahan at 22 and a half. That should be TJ Watt's record. But it's all good. So if he breaks TJ Watt's record today, I'll be pissed off. But this is a type of game and matchup that he can, because Chicago's had some issues on the offensive line, namely at left tackle. Myles Garrett primarily lines up over the left tackle. And so now you've got your worst offensive lineman against arguably the best pass rusher in football. This could get dicey. I'm not going to lie. I think Cleveland's a live dog in this one. And then also that Chicago Bears defense isn't special, right? They don't have a great pass rush themselves. And then also, this is a live dog. Cleveland is a live dog in this one, man, especially if Shedeur is able to still continue and build on the momentum and success that he's shown this far. Like I say, he had 400 yards of total offense last week. Now, it was against the Titans. I don't want to overblow it. It was against the Titans. The Bears defense, as bad as it is, it's not the Titans defense, right? But there is still an avenue to have success against this defense. So if Shedeur and especially Quinshon Judkins in that running game. If Cleveland gets it going in this one, this is a dangerous game for Chicago. Do I want to go Cleveland in the upset? No. I'll stay with the Chicago Bears. I'll stay with the Bears 24-20. But that's a good matchup though. I think this could be a more competitive game than probably you would expect on the surface, I think. Hey, man, hold on, man. No, that ain't my dog. Wait a minute. Hey, hold on, man. Where you at? I'm looking for you. Hey, there we go. My dog in the building, man. Shout out to my dog, Chop. He's to the RBT family, man. RBT family, what's going on? I appreciate you, big dog. Sis said, what's up in the morning? And he said it's real cold and windy today. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not going to lie, dog. Cleveland started to sound a lot better today, man. Myles Garrett going against like a third string, no-name tackle. I can't even tell you that boy's name, man. If I don't know his name, I don't expect none of y'all to know their name, man. If I don't know the left tackle's name right now, the backup, because he's not even the guy who started, and the guy who started was a name that I wasn't overly familiar with, that guy was out. So the guy that came in last week against the Packers, I can't even think of his name. Yeah, I can't even think of his name, dog. Myles Garrett fooling around, had 3 sacks today, dog. God, dog. Man, they're going to let Myles Garrett break TJ Watt record, bro. It's going to piss me off, man. Cleveland live dog in this one, man. That's gonna be a good ass. That's low key gonna be a good ass game. That's gonna be a good ass game, especially with it being cold and windy like that as well. Where Caleb Williams actually Caleb Williams got a whip on him. I ain't gonna lie. He's got a pretty strong arm, so I think he'll be able to handle the wind, and also he's got a strong enough arm. I think he can cut through the wind for sure. But even still. That's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna leave it where it's at, cause I'm getting distracted. But I'm gonna leave it where it's at. But that's a good call out. Shout out to my dog Chop. My dog Miles, man, pretty told the penny in the building, man. He said he's taking Cleveland in the upset. Give me a score. Somebody give me a score. Y'all done called a couple games, ain't nobody gave me a score yet. But I can see it. I've got Chicago 24-20. This could easily be the other way around. This could be Cleveland 23-20. This could be Cleveland 23-19. If Myles Garrett is wrecking this game for sure, and that's the thing about it as well. Because Myles Garrett being a monster in this game, the one time I feel like where it didn't necessarily matter was that Niners game. Because Myles Garrett was an animal in that one as well. And they still lost that game by two scores. Because outside of Myles Garrett, when he was getting pressures or getting a sack, they weren't stopping anything else outside of those moments. But see, Chicago's not the well-oiled machine that the Niners are. Shout out to my dog Chop. You know what I mean? When you win them well-oiled machines, you know what I mean? You can rebound and you can keep it going and keep trucking along. But see, Chicago doesn't have that going for them necessarily. Myles Garrett can win this game. I ain't gonna hold you. Especially with the no-name third-string left tackle for Chicago. I can't even think of the old boy's name. I'm thinking about Kyren Amadejiri or something like that, who they drafted to develop it to a left tackle out of he was in the Ivy League 2 years ago. But he hasn't did anything. I think he's buried on their bench. So it's not him. I can't even think of the dude playing left tackle today. I can't even think of the guy playing left tackle today that's going to try to block Myles Garrett. If we can't even think of the guy who's going to try to block Myles Garrett, that's over. That's dead. Dog, Cleveland might win this game, man. I ain't going to hold you. Cleveland very well might win this game. So, I ain't gonna lie, man. I do think this Cleveland team is excited and motivated. And I think a lot of those players definitely, I do think a lot of that team is rallying behind Shedeur. And I think it's been like that for all season. But, kudos to that locker room for sure because, they didn't implode. We haven't heard a lot of, backbiting coming out of that Browns locker room, even though I think overwhelmingly that players were ready and wanted to see Shedeur get a shot from having to deal with just the mediocrity of the offense or the team trying to carry Dylan Gabriel just for the sake of the coach Stefanski's pride or ego, which one we want to choose. But I do think that they're motivated to play well. I do think they have a different style of energy because now they truly feel Shedeur's shown them that, no, we can compete. we can score points. Because when you a beat dog, Cleveland's been a beat dog for 30 years, at least. You know what I mean? They've been a beat dog. And so they show up with a lot of bite. They show up with a lot of bark until they get pet one good time, and then they roll over a lot of times. You know what I mean? Unless it's in division. But you can see the wind leave Cleveland midway into the – we might get to halftime in some games, and Cleveland's already turned it in. They just already accepted, like, man, they're playing just – they're just out there going through the motions. Not to say that they just don't look like they have a belief that they can actually win the game. You know what I mean? They almost play to just keep games close, it feels like at times. Well, that's not what they got going on right now. With Shadur, now they truly feel like, nah, we can score. We can put up 30 ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so it's a different style of confidence. And so I do think that does play well for Cleveland. And the fact that they lost last week in a game in which he played so well, that defense actually got exposed last week. See, we forgot about that. We was talking about Cleveland and that defense and whoop-de-woo and it's cold and windy in Chicago. We forgot that Tony Pollard gave their ass $150 last week. We forgot that Tony Pollard gave their ass $150 just last week, Tennessee. And it wasn't no type of passing game that opened it up for him. Cam Ward didn't even throw for 150 yards last week. So they beat that Cleveland Browns defense like a drum last week. Cam Ward only threw for like 130 yards at TP. Free TP. Y'all know what's going on, man. Hey, y'all know what's going on. Hey, Chop. Hey, we got TP free. Hey, we got TP free, didn't we, Chop? Yeah, y'all thought we ain't had no pool around here. Hey, we got TP free, man. You know what I'm saying? And he cashed in, man. I'm happy for him. He got paid. And he tore Cleveland Browns. He tore their ass up last week. $150 and 2 touchdowns on the ground. And I think he broke like a 50-yarder on one. And so DeAndre Swift in that Bears offense, he can find the crease. I mean, if we just seen them get toasted last week without any passing game to worry about, we seen TP just old school run down their throat. And so the DeAndre Swift, that creative Ben Johnson Bears offense, Caleb Williams being also able to make plays and make magic with his legs as well. Yeah, that's gonna be a good game, dog. I ain't gonna lie. My Steelers don't play till Monday, so this is a free one for me. This is a freebie. You know what I mean? When the Steelers play Sunday night or Monday, it's so much better. I ain't got no stress. I can take my time. I'm probably fooling around and put that Bears and I'll fool around and put that Bears and Browns game on the big TV. I ain't gonna hold you. That the more I'm talking about it, that sounds like a damn good matchup. That sounds like gonna be a good one. My dog Miles said he's going Cleveland in the upset 28-24. And he thinks the defense is going to get a score today. Okay. I like it. Yeah, I told y'all, boy, we got some good-ass matchups today, man. Baltimore on the road at Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati to sweep the Ravens and they sorry ass 30-27. Joe Burrow made some interesting comment. And Chop, I'm glad you're here. Chop, I'm glad you're here, dog. I assume you've seen the post about Joe Burrow. He's hinting at, like, and we've seen this before from Carson Palmer back in the day, where, man, you get beat up in Cincinnati long enough and the writing's on the wall, he might force his way out of there like we saw Carson Palmer do. At least that's what he was talking about, hinting at, man, I ain't having fun. This ain't what I signed up for. I'm out here getting killed. I'm going through so much whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And so, you know, does Joe Burrow start trying to make a play to get out of Cincy? You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. I want to know. If right now, on the spot, Chop, if you still in here, right now, on the spot, you get one realistic team that could make a realistic play for Joe Burrow. Who is it? Who's the one? That's what I want to ask you. And also, do you think he really leaves? Does he really get out of there? Does he really leave? But Baltimore on the road at Cincinnati. Cincinnati with the upset of Baltimore in Joe Burrow's first game back. Matter of fact, was that Thanksgiving night? That was Thanksgiving night. Thanksgiving was a glorious night. Shout out to Joe Burrow and them punk-ass Bengals for beating the Ravens on Thanksgiving and making my holiday special. I'm taking Joe Burrow and the Bengals to sweep the punk-ass Ravens 30-27 at the crib. Hey, same thing as me, Vikings. There you go. I was wondering if that's where you was going to go. That's me. That was on the wall. That's if he's getting out that building, it don't matter what the price is. If I'm Kevin O'Connell, we giving it. Go to ownership. Go above the GM. Go to ownership. Hey, man. Hey, look. We got to go get Joe. I don't give a damn what they want. They can have anybody but Jordan Jefferson. They can have anybody but Jordan Jefferson go get Joe Burrow right now and make it happen for sure. But now Baltimore coming off of a tough loss, of course, to my Steelers. You know what we got going on. Big Nation business. Coming off that tough loss last week to my Steelers for sure. And then also having the almost immediate rematch, like I said, from their Thanksgiving night loss in Joe Burrow's first game back. Now, Joe Burrow and the Bengals as well just had a tough loss in Buffalo, a game in which they were controlling. Joe Burrow, he's complaining about not having fun and might be want to leave. Well, you don't want to check that off last week, bro. You can't throw two back-to-back. First off, you threw a pick six. Now, mind you, it was a great play by the defender, but even that pass didn't look right. You almost kind of pushed the ball like you was trying to lob it over the guy's head instead of maybe using a side arm angle or pumping him or just anything. And I'm not saying that those are easy plays to make. I'm not saying that. But if it was an easy play to make, you wouldn't be Joe Burrow, my boy. So I'm going to tell you that I expect you to make that play because you're one of them ones. You know what I mean? You one of them ones. I don't expect everybody else to be able to use a weird arm angle or pump a guy, get around him, or find a way to do anything but what you did. But when you one of them ones, Joe Burrow, that's the level I hope. That interception was turned into a pick six. Inexcusable, my boy. Inexcusable. And then you know what you can't do? The next possession, the first play of the next possession. You know what you can't do, Joe Burrow? You can't throw another interception, boy, which is what you did. Two back-to-back interceptions, one of them a pick six. I don't want to hear nothing about the defense this week, Joe. Don't come out here now you sad and you want to go home. You want to take your ball and go to somebody else's team when you cost them that game last week. There were two back-to-back interceptions, one of them a pick six. That's on you, Playboy. That's on you, big dog. But I need you to go ahead and spank them Ravens for me today, and I appreciate you kindly. Yes, sir. But yeah, I'm going Bengals in the upset in that one as well. Yeah, Chop said he would like to see him in the Vikings. Hey, Miles, man. Hey, dog. Hey, man. Hey, boy. Hey, man. Ain't no way in hell they gonna trade him in the division. Ain't no way in hell. Yeah, ain't no way in hell they gonna trade him in the division. Yeah, ain't no way. Ain't no way. I would love to see it. That would be fantastic. I would love that. But ain't no way. Yeah, ain't no way, man. Ain't no way they let that happen. If he leaves, I don't want to see him in the AFC. So if he leaves, I want to go to the Vikings because I think it's a perfect matchup. Him and Kevin O'Connell. He reunites with Justin Jefferson, right? And then also Jordan Addison. You know what I mean? TJ Hawkinson. They've got weapons there. That offensive line is solid when they're healthy. Man, Brian Flores in that defense. No. I think the Vikings is the best matchup for sure. For sure. But yeah, ain't no way they trade him in division. But if they did, I'd love to see it. Well, no, he said find a way to quit. He's under contract. You know what I'm saying? So he's under contract. What he signed, was it 3 years ago? When I think Joe Burrow got paid? I want to say 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So he's already cashed out. So I know they own. I mean, they own that deal. Like, ain't go nowhere. I mean, now unless he makes a big enough stink, he doesn't report, or I don't know. I don't know how deep into it he would get. And I think at this time, I think this is just the dam is just finally starting to crack. But I don't think realistically, like, I don't imagine him like forcing his way out of the town, because honestly, he didn't really have to come back this year. Now, they did bring him back because they did have a backdoor chance to get into the playoffs or even win this division, which gets them in the playoffs. And that door is not, I don't know if it's fully or firmly shut, probably is. But the fact that he came back, I think does show that he's committed to trying to win there. But yeah, I think that was more so just frustration. And honestly, a lot of his fault, because that's a game that they definitely should have won. Chargers on the road at Kansas City. Kansas City gets they rematch or chance for a rematch when they week one loss in Brazil. And then for Kansas City, man, their destiny's not in their hands. So, elimination imminent question, right? Is it? And so the thing about it is, if they lose this game, they're out. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're out. The playoffs are over. The season's over. Essentially, there's no way to get in. If they win this game, they have a chance, but there's a couple. Like, the destiny's not in their hands, so there's a couple other outcomes that could still eliminate them today, regardless of win or loss. Now, the thing about it is, I think the Chiefs, did they get swept by the AFC South? No, they lost. They beat the Colts in overtime. But they lost to both the Texans and the Jaguars. And these are the scenarios that we were talking about I've been talking about on here for like a month now about Kansas City and the danger they've been in because they lost a lot of these head-to-heads, which are going to play as the tiebreaker for the wild card. And now that's came to fruition. So now, even if they win today, but if Jacksonville wins and the Texans win, then they're eliminated anyway. Win, lose, or otherwise, if the Texans and Jags win, Kansas City is still out. And the sad part about that is both those teams have winnable games today. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Houston's hosting the Cardinals. So Arizona's going to Houston in that defense. That's an L. That's an L. I don't see in any world where Arizona is going to go out there and light it up against this Texans offense enough so to win the game. And Arizona and Jacoby Brissett, for all the good they've been doing, they've been putting up a lot of numbers in losing efforts. You know what I mean? So it's almost not quite garbage time, but those games aren't necessarily competitive when Arizona's putting up the numbers that they are. But that's an L. That's an L. And then Jacksonville also has a very winnable game today. I'm looking for it. And Jacksonville's hosting the Jets. So you need the Jets to beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville, or you need the Cardinals to beat the Texans in Houston. I don't feel good about either one of those. And so even with the win today and the revenge grudge match against the Chargers, chances are that Kansas City probably still gets eliminated today because of losing those head-to-heads that they did that I've been talking about for a month. I told y'all, I've been talking about for 10 weeks now. When Patty threw that damn pick six in Jacksonville to lose that game, they threw that pick six on the goal line in Jacksonville, 99-yard return. And then also that's the same game in which on the game-winning touchdown where Chris Jones is just standing up watching the play, Trevor Lawrence gets his foot stepped on at the snap. He falls down. He gets up, he scrambles, scores a touchdown, and Chris Jones was standing there with his hands on his waist, watching it happen the whole time. So you got that combined with Patty's 99-yard pick six, and you lose a game to the Jacksonville Jaguars that you should have won. Since that game, I've been questioning these Chiefs like, hold on, man. This ain't the type of game you lose. This ain't the type of game that the Chiefs lose. You know what I mean? And so, and now it's coming back to bite them because now they need the same Jaguars to lose today and the Texans who just beat them in a very tough competitive game as well. Chris Jones probably played his best game of the career, his best game of the season. In that Texans game, he was everywhere, but it was too little too late. The Texans do hold on to get that done, and so now you need both those two teams to lose today or one of those two today, and they both got soft matchups, and so that's tough. I do think Kansas City handles business today against a Chargers team that's also been a little injured, a little beat up as well. Justin Herbert's playing with a broken wrist. It's going to be ice cold in Kansas City today. I think I saw something that said the temperature in Kansas City is it's sub 20 degrees in Kansas City right now. And I can tell you, I've been to Kansas City in that super cold because my Steelers used to play in Kansas City pretty frequently. And so when they were in Kansas City, I always try to catch those games. So I've been in that stadium and I can tell you what, I was there, man, it's been that long. I was there, 4, 5, 6 years ago where my Steelers went to Kansas City and played in the playoffs. And it was like 15 degrees there. I'm trying to, I could have got frostbite, man. I could have got frostbite. And so that Kansas City Stadium is an ice box for sure. You've got the Chargers coming in from sunny California as well, playing on concrete. This is going to be football on concrete today. I'm trying to tell you right now. Kansas City is going to be cold as shit, man. It's cold as all hell. That field is going to be frozen solid. Essentially, it's going to feel like it's frozen solid. And then also, we already know about the offensive line for the Chargers and the issues they have at both tackle positions. Both those two studs out. The interior of that offensive line isn't great. We saw Justin Herbert running for his life and doing a lot of running around in that Eagles win last Monday. They ended up winning that game in overtime. But still, man, it's going to be tough. Chris Jones and the rest of that defensive line, my dog Keandre, man, Tier 1 Karlaftis, those boys are definitely going to be fired up. And Kansas City's going to be as motivated as they'll ever be for the rest of this season today. So I do think that motivation, the thought of of possibly keeping their season playoff hopes alive, I think that's enough to motivate them to get this done, especially with it being cold and in your building at home in the frigid cold in Kansas City. I think they get it done. 27-24 is where I went. That might be too many points in this game now that I'm thinking about it. With the weather having the impact that it's going to have in this one, I think that's actually too many points. I'm not going to lie to none of y'all. I'm going to knock that down just a little bit. It's going to be cold as shit today in Kansas City, man. It's going to be brutally cold. And when I tell you I was in stands in that playoff game with Kansas City, when Pittsburgh went to Kansas City, TJ Watt had a strip sack, fumble recovery for a touchdown. We went into halftime either up 10-7 or down 10-7, but then Patty Dale came out in the second half and blew us out. And I had to sit, me and my big cousin had to sit, we were sitting at the top of the stadium, the only seats we could get. We were sitting at the top of the stadium, man. I'm talking about, I caught all of those 12-degree wind chill winds. It was brutal. Yeah. No, I don't think this one, I don't see the Chargers coming out there and getting that one. I don't think they get this one. Kansas City's going to be too motivated. That offensive line for the Chargers is a soft spot. They're playing for their life. You know what I'm saying? Herbert's already kind of beat up. If he falls wrong on this concrete turf that's going to be in Kansas City today as well, he's already got the broken wrist, I think it is, and I think that's going to be too much to ask for Herbert and the Chargers on the road today, man. With Kansas City fighting for their life. I think it's too much. Oh, sis said she's taking the Chargers. Said the Chargers about to tear Kansas City up. Really? Okay. Don't get her started. She all right. Don't get her started. Sis said she's taking the Chargers 24-21. I mean, I don't know, man. That game last week against the Eagles and the Chargers was one of the worst. Like, I hated how sloppy that game was on both sides. It was 8 or 9 turnovers in that game combined. 5 from the Eagles and I think 3 or 4 from the Chargers. I think Herbert had 3 or 4 turnovers in that game. I want to say he had at least 2 picks. He lost a fumble. I know he had at least 2 picks and lost a fumble. And I'm trying to think, did he have another fumble in that game? It was a very sloppy game, right, for sure. And now you're going, and that was against the Eagles, and they have a talented defense for sure. But now you're going to another talented defense, and this time on the road in the frigid Midwest. Chris Jones, Carl Loftus, and those guys, that linebacker core, which is pretty stout, man. My dog Leo Chenal, Nick Bolton, oh boy, man, I'm blanking on his name now, Drew. Him as well. That secondary, Jalen Watkins is really a guy who's an unsung kind of hero on that defense. I like me some Jalen Watkins, man. The more I see him, he's one of those guys where Trent McDuffie is the name that we know. This is a nice Trent McDuffie game. Because Trent McDuffie, if they let him just roam, just play in the slot, which is where he should be full time, you know what I mean? Now he plays outside as well, just as a function of what they got to do. But primarily when he's in the slot, I think he's a premier slot defender. I think he could definitely put Ladd McConkey in the box. It could be back-to-back rough weeks for Ladd McConkey. Because Cooper DeJean put pause on that boy last week. And then now matching up with Trent McDuffie in the slot as well. I think especially in a lot of the key critical downs and stuff like that, I think he's going to see a lot of Trent McDuffie. I don't like that matchup for him as well. This could be rough. This could be tough weeks back-to-back for Ladd. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Kansas City's just too much going on. Oh, man, hey, my dog Isaiah in the building, man. What's going on? Shout out to my dog Ike T, man. He says a broken finger. I thought he broke his wrist. Is it broken finger? I don't know why I thought he broke a bone in his wrist. Are you well, I was going to say, are you sure? But, yeah, you would know. I thought he broke a bone in his wrist. Okay, broken finger. My fault. I thought he broke a bone in his wrist. Because he's got a full, wrist. He had, some type of brace. He's got some type of, brace or soft cast, on his wrist, I thought. Because if it's a broken finger, normally they'll just splint it, and then they'll tape it. Because it's on his 9 throwing hand. So they'll put a splint and then secure it or tape it to another one of his fingers if it's a broken finger. But he's been wearing a brace. I thought he'd been wearing some type of brace or soft cast on his wrist, I thought it was a fractured bone in his wrist. It may be broken finger, though. My fault. It may be a broken finger. Now, also, if it's a broken finger, did he take snaps under center last week? Because how's he taking snaps under center with a broken finger? Because they wasn't in gun all game last week against the Eagles. Bro, you sure? It might be a risk. Because if it's a broken finger, I don't know if he's going to be under center taking snaps with a broken finger. Because you smacking that finger 40 snaps a game. You know what I'm saying? Because you snapping the ball into that finger like 40 snaps a game. I don't know if it's a finger. You might be right, though. Like I said, that's your team. So you probably right there. Because that is your team. I give you that. I give you that. But I really thought it was like a bone in his wrist. He's got a wrist brace on. He's got some type of wrist brace or cast on that left hand. I'm almost positive. I feel like I've seen it in my mind. I can see it in that Eagles game. You might be right, though. You might be right. My dog, he came back and said Chiefs will win this one. Sadly, the game plan is out. Smother the receivers and rush the QB. O-line has been so terrible this year. Yeah, no, as I said, this is a bad matchup. This is a bad matchup for y'all, especially, like I said, Kansas City is motivated and also being in their building. It's going to be, man, it's going to be freezing cold. What was that? Never mind. I was trying to think of something, but I'm going to let that go. He said, but he'll be glad when people tell the truth about Burrow and the fluke COVID run they went on. Well, no, they played good ball. I mean, they got hot. I mean, so it's the team that quite often they're not the first team to get hot going into the playoffs. Because if we're gonna call that fluke, if we're gonna call the Bengals playoff run a fluke, we call Tom Brady's Tampa Bay playoff run a fluke. Because y'all forget, at the midpoint of that season, when Tom Brady and the Buccaneers went on that run, they got hot the last 4 games of the year. Or they got hot that last month of the year. They were a 500 team going into like week 13. And that's Tom Brady and the Bucs. You know what I mean? And so Joe Burrow and the Bengals on their run, they not the first team to catch to catch fire like that and then just run it off. You know, like the Giants and Eli Manning. Because those terrible ass teams, both those terrible teams. Right? Eli Manning spent his career going 7-9 outside of, 2 historic runs in which they got hot. Now, one of those runs, I think they were like 11-6. The other one, they were 9-7. But we've seen teams like get on those stretch runs where you're healthy, you get healthy and hot that last month of the season, and it can carry you all the way to the championship game. So we've seen that before. So I don't necessarily want to call out the Bengals too bad for that, because I saw Tom Brady do it. Because that Buccaneers team wasn't no juggernaut. Y'all forget. Don't forget, that Buccaneers team wasn't no juggernaut. That Buccaneers team, was that a 9-17? Was that a 9-7, 10-16? Maybe they got to 10-16, they got hot. But midway through that season, there was a time in which I think that Buccaneers team was like 4-5. And we were all questioning Tom and what was going on, et cetera, et cetera. And so we've seen teams get hot and go on a run. So that's not just Joe Burrow in those Bengals for sure. I'm not trying. I thought it was he's got a wrist brace on. He's got a wrist. They put some on his wrist. Like, I don't know. Because if you break a finger, you splint it and then you tape it to another finger for stability. Like, that's how I've always just seen like broken fingers handled in football. You get a splint and they tape it to another finger for support. You know what I mean? He's got a wrist brace thing on. I ain't making it up. He's got a wrist thing on. He said Herbert had 1 pick and 1 fumble. No, Herbert had 3 turnovers, bro. I thought he had at least. No, he had 2 fumbles. There it is. He had 1 pick and 2 fumbles. He had at least 3, because that game it was 8 or 9 total turnovers in that game. Because Jalen Hurts, I think, had 4, and I couldn't remember if Herbert also had 4. Herbert had at least 3, and then I got my notes. He had 1 pick and 2 fumbles lost. That's what it was. He lost 2 fumbles. 2 fumbles. Let me see. He said it's his palm. What are you talking his palm? It's his palm. I might have caught that comment too late. I can't remember. It's his palm. What are we talking about? It's his palm. Are you talking about Herbert? Boy, you can break your palm? Herbert broke his palm? Hold on, cuz. What are you saying? Herbert broke his palm? Ain't no way, dog. Ain't no way. Let me find out man, look, I'm gonna let that go. I was gonna say something inappropriate. It's too early on Sunday morning. It's too early on Sunday morning, man. But no, that's gonna be a good one. Like I said, I think Kansas City's too motivated. I think Kansas City wins this one, and they'll win this game and lose the season. I do think it trends that way. But that should be a good, entertaining game as well. Buffalo at New England. There's 3 games of the week this week. I'm sorry to tell y'all. There's 3 games of the week this week. This is the second game of the week. One of the games of the week was Green Bay at Denver. That's a Super Bowl preview. That's a potential Super Bowl preview style of matchup. I think that's a fantastic matchup right there. Both those teams, I think Green Bay is probably maybe the hottest team in the NFC right now, because I think they took over that spot from the Rams, because the Rams got spanked by the Panthers just 2 weeks ago. I ain't forgot. We ain't forgot, right? And so I do think Green Bay has rallied off. I want to say these last 3-4 wins against pretty quality opponents as well. And so I think they're playing damn good ball right now. That Broncos team, they've been living on the edge. We was talking, shout out to my dog James, man. You want to remember this, big dog, if you're still in here. Me and my dog James, we did a lot of talking about those Broncos the first half of the show, who number one in the AFC in the AFC right now. I think because they've got them and these Patriots. But that was one of the games of the week. I think this is a game of the week as well. Buffalo gets their chance to rematch or even out the series against New England. It's in New England. I'm taking young Drizzy May, man. Matter of fact, Isaiah in a bit. I'm taking Isaiah. Isaiah was high on. He called Drake May, man, in the draft. I missed on May. I didn't recover it though. I recouped. I gave him his flowers. I'm riding. You know what I mean? That's young Drizzy Drake May, man. That's young Drizzy Drake May. I'm riding with him, man. I got to. I can't trust Buffalo's. I don't trust Buffalo's defense for sure. That's for one. And also, their offense is too inconsistent. It's literally Josh Allen playing super. If Josh Allen doesn't turn into Superman, or if James Cook doesn't get you a 60-yard explosive, then this offense is cooked, right? Schematically, I don't like what they got going on, right? They don't have a true weapon on the outside. Keon Coleman, he doesn't look like he's going to be what they wanted him to be. Khalil Shakur is a guy that you feel best if he's your number 3. Instead, he's your pseudo number 1. He's your pseudo number 1. He could probably function as a mere tier 2, but he would be best as a high level 3. He's your pseudo 1, right? Dalton Kincaid's been injured and beat up. Dawson Knox is up and down always, but I don't know Kincaid's status for this game. But like I said, he's been up and down and injured anyway, regardless. And so I think it may be, and it's in New England. Yeah, I think this is a toss-up game for me for sure. It's a 1-point game. This game could go either way. I'm giving the 1-point edge to New England. They are at home, and I do think offensively they're just playing much more consistent ball offensively. Now, also, here's the thing about it as well. They also don't necessarily have any standout weapons on the outside, but they're the guys they do have are just playing better. They're just playing better. Keyshawn Butte, Stephon Diggs. They do have Diggs. Oh, this is Diggs. Diggs gets the host now. They won that game in Buffalo, which I guess would be his revenge game. And so now he gets to see those guys again, but now they come to his house as well. But Diggs and Butte are very viable. Hunter Henry is having some success there as well. Trayvon Henderson, he's definitely explosive. He's a threat to score from 60 at just about any point as well. And also, I think I have to say I trust neither of these defenses is extremely stout. Neither of these defenses is extremely stout, but I think the Patriots have less to worry about. Because like I said, Big Josh, MVP Josh Allen, Big Josh has to be Superman, and if he's Superman, then they're not going to stop him. If Josh Allen does turn into Superman, then he can't be stopped. We've seen it. 30 points in the fourth quarter against the Ravens, 6 touchdowns and a comeback win against the Lions. We just seen what happened when Joe Burrow threw 2 back-to-back interceptions and then lets Josh Allen take off for 40 yards and score a touchdown. So we've seen him be able to take over these style of games, especially if it's close and he has the ball in those winning moments. We've seen that he'll be able to rise above and take over. But But I really like what I've been seeing from young Drizzy May, man, in this Patriots offense for the bulk of the season. I've been saying I want to say since week 3. No, maybe since like week 4. I can't remember when I first started doing like little power rankings, but I waited until like week 4 or so, and I think Drake May was the top 2 quarterback in the league since week 4. When that's the first time I started putting together rankings, and Drake May's been inside the top 2 since then. Inside the top 2-3 since then. You know what I mean? And so he's playing fantastic football. And yeah, I'm going to take these Patriots, man, these young upstart Patriots at home to sweep the Bills. Am I going to say they're going to sweep Big Josh? Unfortunately so. I think they sweep Big Josh and the Bills. They get this done. This might be the final nail that gets Sean McDermott's seat hot enough to where they try to make a move maybe. I just think maybe it's time for them to they got to try something else, man. We got to do more to put more offensively around Josh Allen, man. And maybe losing this division to a young upstart Patriots team, getting swept by them this season, maybe that's the impetus that gets that done. But I'll take the Patriots in a damn good game, man. I think this is going to be an exciting game. 28-27. Give me the young gun, Drizzy May. Let me see here. Washington on the road at the Giants, man. Real quick, easy. We'll go Giants 23-21. Mariota starting still in place of Jaden Daniels. Jackson Dart, I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but this very well may be their chance to get their last victory at home in New York. So I'll take the Giants and Jackson Dart to get that done. Raiders on the road at Philly. Give me Philly to bounce back after a terrible loss on the road last Monday night. We were just talking about with my dog Isaiah. So Philly now gets to bounce back against that embarrassing loss. Jalen Hurts probably played the worst. Definitely, I think played the worst game of his career. 4 interceptions he ended up finishing with? 4 interceptions, including the one that sealed the deal in overtime in that game. One of those interceptions was off of a tip pass off of A.J. Brown's arms. It was a high pass. I'm still just not quite sure that A.J. Brown fully extended for that because he was about to be cut in half by a Chargers defender, in fairness. But still, he's one of those guys I expect him to make that play. But so one of those interceptions, a deflection, but still very rough game for Jalen Hurts. This is a nice get-back game for them. You get a soft Raiders team in your building, so you don't have to go to the West Coast as well. And so everybody should be able to lick their wounds and get their confidence back up as they get to beat up on the Raiders before they get back to business and make sure they hold on to that division from the Cowboys, who are probably trying to rally as well. Jets on the road at Jacksonville. This one, again, like we talked about, has a lot of playoff implications for the Chiefs. The Chiefs need to win, and they have to have either the Jags or Texans lose today. Jacksonville hosting the Jets. I'm taking Jacksonville 27-24. Now, the Jets have played a lot more consistently, and they have done a lot better with Tyrod Taylor under center now, adding some consistency and some calmness to the position. I don't think they have enough to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are playing pretty well. It has to be said, I'm not a huge Trevor Lawrence guy, but they are playing well. And I think they hold on to this, man. They've got the big win coming off, taking over control of that division from the Colts. Daniel Jones leads that game with an Achilles. They win that game. They need to I believe they have to hold on and win out to win that division because they're duking it out in that division for the Colts, who are still there. And then, of course, the Texans, which are the hottest defense in the league for sure. But I'll take Jacksonville to get this done. Let me see here. Arizona at Houston. Okay, yeah, back-to-back. So both these games are the games that the Chiefs need one of these teams to lose. I don't see either. Arizona on the road at Houston as well. Both these teams are also at home today and against soft opponents. So I think that's all she wrote for Kansas City. Arizona goes to Houston. I don't imagine. I gave them 20 points. They may not score. They may score 20 of those points. They may score 10 or 13 of those points in essentially garbage time. Right? I think Houston's probably going to put this one away. I'm going 27-20, namely on the strength of that Houston defense for sure. But I think Houston is going to – that still feels like too many points. That still feels like too many points. I can't even hold you. I figured they would get a late score that didn't mean anything. I figured they'd get a late score that didn't mean anything, honestly. But giving them 2 touchdowns, I don't know if they scored 2 touchdowns today. I don't know if they could score 2 touchdowns today, man. I'm going to widen that on out. I'm going to take one of them touchdowns away, and I'm going to add a field goal. 27-16, give me Houston at the crib. And like I said, if those 2 games play out the way I imagine, that means Kansas City season is over today, regardless of their outcome with the Chargers. Now, our next game of the week, Detroit at the Rams. Man, this is a tough one, man. This is a tough one, but I am going Rams. They are at home. This is the second, or an additional grudge match, or reverse grudge match, however you want to name it, right? Jared Goff and Matt Stafford, man, Eskimo brothers. It looks like they switched wives. Jared Goff and Matt Stafford switched wives, and now they're playing again. Detroit this time in LA. I'm gonna take LA to get this done, 30-27. I think this is gonna be another exciting game for sure. I feel like every time these two teams play, it's a pretty good matchup. We already know the history there, and honestly, for better or worse, I think both players are now supremely like Stafford doesn't necessarily miss his time in LA or in Detroit. You know what I mean? Like, he went there, he spent a lot of years there. He had Calvin Johnson there, but for him, that was he definitely upgraded in LA, so he doesn't miss Detroit. Maybe there's parts of Detroit of Jared Goff that still miss LA. Especially this time of year when it's cold and snowy in Detroit, and thinking about it, boy, you had 85 degrees in LA back when that was the crib. But I do think it's going to be an interesting game. I do think it's going to be an exciting game. I do think we're going to get a lot of points scored in this one, but I am taking LA to hold on at home and get this done 30-27. Detroit, which has also been the story of their last few seasons as well, they get decimated by injuries year over year. And so last year or even 2 years ago, they were able to find a way and fight through, right, and still go on a decent run before they get upset in the playoffs by rookie Jaden Daniels. Yeah, that was just last year, right? But that was still a 13-14 win team, even as injured as they was. This year, they're also a super injured team, but they haven't necessarily found a way to overcome those. But, man, I still can't wait to see this one. Jahmyr Gibbs, I want to see what he does against that Rams defense for sure. Jahmyr Gibbs, man, best in the business. You know what I mean? Y'all know what's going on. So I can't wait to see him in this one. But all told, I just think it's going to be too much Rams. I think the Lions in that offense, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo, Jameson Williams, Demo, David Montgomery. They've got a lot of names there. That offensive line for the Lions is a problem point. And, of course, you've got a very young and aggressive Rams defense, Jared Verse and Braden Fisk up front. I like those guys. Byron Young, the other edge rusher there. I like the safeties with the Rams. Cam Kitchens was my number one safety coming out of Miami, just 3 years ago. So I really was a big fan of him. I liked Cam Curl. When Cam Curl got released or didn't get re-signed with the Commanders, I want to say he came for the Commanders, he was a sneaky free agent signing that I really liked for the Rams. And him and Cam Kitchens back there in that back half are very good. Emmanuel Forbes, he has had a resurgent year for the Rams in that secondary also. But still, I still on the whole would feel like that Rams secondary is the weak point of that defense. And, of course, that's going to make them susceptible for if Amon-Ra, who's been a little banged up, right, but he played last week on that injury. Now we're another week out. So Amon-Ra and J-Mo, if they can have some explosives or find some success there in that secondary, Jahmyr Gibbs as well. We know how dynamic he is with the football, pass rushing or receiving, but a 4-yard dump off may turn into a 70-yard touchdown run as well for him. So I really like this game. I think both these teams can both race to a finish, but I'll give the edge to the Rams. And the biggest thing for me as well, Detroit, they're injured. Their secondary has already been the weak point of that defense for several years now, and they're still even beat up more. Terry and Arnold on IR since last week. Amik Robinson, who came over from the Raiders, he's scrappy, right? But he's not a tier one corner at all. We already saw what happened with who filled in for Terry and Arnold last week. DJ Reed getting honey roasted last week by CeeDee Lamb before CeeDee goes out with injury. And so we know the most dangerous red zone threat in football right now, Devontae Adams. Like, I don't know who's going to stop Devontae Adams in the short red zone. Those are layups. You know what I mean? If they're in the 5 and in, yeah, you can put 6 on the board. You can put 6 on the board. It's no secret where they're going. It's going to Devontae. You're not going to be able to guard him. You can't touch him on the line. One of the best release packages in the history of football. You can't get a hand on the line. He's got fantastic hands and jumping ability. He's got a basketball background. And so, yeah, man. Unless Sean McVay gets cute or Kyren Williams fumbles the ball or we get something like that, I just don't think Detroit's going to have to get this done. I think they fight hard, they fight valiantly, much like we know they'll do with Dan Campbell and the way that team operates. But I just don't think they have the guns to fully stick it out and overtake the Rams in LA, especially. Let me see. I know my dog Chop. Oh, Tyrod is out for the Jets. I did not realize up on this chat. My fault. I went too fast. Tyrod's out. Okay, well then that's even worse then, because Justin Fields hasn't shown. I mean, Justin Fields. Tyrod has been an upgrade to Justin Fields. I didn't think they had a chance to realistically win that game with Tyrod, so with now him being out, I think that's probably even more of a reason to expect the Texans. No, are they playing? No. The Jaguars to get that dub for sure. Chop said he's taking his Rams in the shootout. He said they owe him. They done lost 3 in a row. Damn, y'all done lost the last 3? I know they beat y'all in Detroit last year. They beat y'all in the playoffs. They beat y'all in the wild card playoffs, right? The year before, also last year or 2 years ago. Has it been 3 in a row? Damn. I know they beat y'all in the playoffs, and I know they beat y'all last year, regular season, when y'all went to Detroit last year, I believe, and Detroit won that game, and then they beat y'all in the playoffs. I don't remember the third one. But yeah, I mean, you would know better than me. I believe you. Yeah, if they've lost 3 in a row, then y'all overdue to get that back. Y'all overdue to get that back. Hey, Chad said they bring in Hillary. Yeah, I got you. Damn, who's left? Fields is out too. Who's left? So you mean to tell me the Colts lose Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, and they call 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who was coaching high school football in his hometown, they bring his ass in and start him, because he's starting today. They start him after being in the building for 4 or 5 days. Mind you, he's 45 years old. He's a grandfather. He's going to start. The Jets are out. Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields. Neither one of those moved the needle for anyone. And yet Cam still ain't got a phone call? Cam can't even get a call. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yes, that Jets game, that's a dub. All right, that's over with. That's over with, man. That's over with. Damn, Chiefs. Hey, they had this big dog. Oh, I missed you too, sis. My fault. She said, talking about the Bills-Patriots game. She said, that's a tough one. Those are all great points. I think the Patriots as well, but she thinks the score will be lower. Oh, okay. Taking the Patriots, but a lower score. I think I did have it a little more higher scoring. Yeah, I think I did have it like a pseudo shootout, 28-27 if I remember right. And then speaking of old man Rivers, Indianapolis at Seattle. Rivers makes his return. Give me Seattle 28-21. Did I give them too many touchdowns? I'm not going to lie. A part of me thinks that Phillip Rivers is going to come out here and look all right. I'm not going to lie. Phillip Rivers was probably no more mobile years ago than he is right now. Phillip Rivers has never been a very mobile quarterback, as crazy as that sounds. And so he's not as non-mobile as he was before. He's still going to struggle with mobility today for sure. But that's never been a calling card of his game. If you can protect him, he can slice and dice. So that's always been his game. Now, what Indianapolis does have going for him is they have a very capable runner in Jonathan Taylor. So this game is going to be, can the Colts establish Jonathan Taylor and keep the Seattle defense, which is a very aggressive, high-flying defense as well, right? Can they keep that defense honest? Can they slow this game down? Can they keep the ball out of the hands of that high-flying offense from Seattle as well, right? JSN and Sam Darnold, we know what they got going on. So can Indianapolis get the run game going? Can Phillip Rivers, off of 4 days of practice at 44 years old, coming off a 5-year hiatus from the league, right? Can his body hold up? And also, does he have it? Can he still, can he still, just how viable or functional will he be? So I can't wait to watch this one as well to see what Phil Rivers looks like and to see, like I said, man, if they have a chance. If he comes in and upsets these Seahawks, man, this may be something that depending on how Phillip Rivers, because Phillip Rivers for me, he's Hall of Fame eligible. I think he made it as a semifinalist in the Hall of Fame. Right now, personally, I don't have Phillip Rivers. I don't consider him a Hall of Famer. He's one of those guys, Hall of very good, because there was a stretch run there where Phillip Rivers in that Chargers offense, they were a number one offense in football for like a span of like 5 years. Like they were, if not number one, they were a top 1, 2, 3 offense in the league for like a good stretch run, but they never got over the humps, right? Remember all those legendary LaDainian Tomlinson games? I remember them crumbling in the playoffs against the Patriots as the number one seed at home. You get crumbled in the playoffs there. I remember LT, sitting one out because he had a strained ACL, MCL. And I'm not trying to discount it because that is a serious injury, and he's a running back. So this is the playoffs. What were you saving yourself for, LT? That's the only thing I would ask. What would you save yourself for, homeboy, respectfully? You saved yourself for next week, and then you went straight to Vegas, or excuse me, you went straight to Hawaii. Because you know what? Saving yourself for that next week didn't happen. That next week didn't come here, big dog. But that's all good. That's all good. I ain't trying to come down on LT. I love LT. I respect him. I want to see what Phillip Rivers looks like. I think my dog James, man, he said he wants to see, hopefully, Phillip Rivers doesn't get his life took today. 44-year-old man trying to run around, especially with this aggressive Seattle defense. Leonard Williams in that defensive front. Devon Witherspoon, for sure. A dog, absolute animal, leading that defense also with Leonard Williams. And so this is a tough game to make your reintroduction to the league, for sure, for Phillip Rivers. Oh, man, shout out to my dog, Chop. We are burning oil, man. We burning daylight. Y'all got about 3 minutes. Fantasy football playoffs, get your lineups together if you haven't done so already. What game is left? Oh, we're going to talk about the Steelers game. We got 3 minutes to talk about my Steelers. Monday Night Football, Miami on the road in Pittsburgh. Give me Pittsburgh. Give me the good guys. Big nation business in the building. You know what's going on. We're going to get this done 24-20. I am worried about this game. The Miami Dolphins, the Divine A-Chain, they're the best running team in football over the last month of the season. And my Steelers have probably been the worst run defense in the league over the last month of the season. As crazy as that sounds. It's going to be another ice cold day in Pittsburgh. It's also going to be sub 20 degrees at kickoff on Monday night. So it's going to be a very cold, windy day in Pittsburgh as well. But Miami is the better running team, man. So that definitely scares me, worries me a little bit. But all that said, I'm taking the good guys. We're going to handle our business, do what we got to do. Tua, boy, I pray for your health in this one because that ground going to be hard. And we coming home, big dog. And we coming home, man. So I expect him to take some shots. I hope and pray that we could do enough to slow down Divine A-Chain for sure and not let him ruin or steal this game for me. But other than that, man, we're going to get right out of here. That is it. That is all. We got 1 minute left. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for that real member roll call. Real quick, man. Shout out to my dog Chop in the building. I appreciate your homeboy. Sis was in the building as well. I appreciate you. My dog Isaiah in the building holding down for his Chargers. I appreciate your homeboy. I'm looking for the rest of y'all. I know y'all was in here. My dog Miles, Pretty Totally the Predator, man. Holla at my dog, Prospect Precision Paint, across all social media platforms, man. Tap in with my dog. I appreciate you as always, big dog. My dog J2 Trill in the building, holding it down for those Chargers. Shout out to my dog James, man. James K9, boom, boom, boom. You one of them members now, big dog. He a Broncos friend from Vegas. I appreciate your homeboy. Tapping with them 3 amigos for me before you get up out of here. Let me see. I know who else is in here now. I'm looking for you. Oh, man, can't forget my dog D-Dot in the business. In the building, man. Big Nation Business. He know what's going on. And, of course, Mom Dukes is in the building as well. I appreciate you as always. And just like that, we out this thing. Say the same thing every week. Feel free to say it with me at home. If I forgot to say your name, damn. But charge it to my head and don't charge it to my heart. You know I'm thinking about you. I appreciate all the love and support for all of y'all, man. It's 12 o'clock kickoff somewhere. Good luck to you and your team unless your team is playing my team. Other than that, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, top in with your dog. We'll be right back. I enjoy Football Sunday. Peace.